Welcome back, biology students, to another video on genetics. Just recently, we learned about how to do some Punnett squares. You may have done a SpongeBob practice in class. That helps you understand the language of homozygous, heterozygous, dominant, recessive, genotype, phenotype, all those kinds of things, okay? So if you are a little bit confused on how to perform Punnett squares, my advice to you would be to go back and watch the previous lecture video. Today, we're going to talk about dihybrid crosses. So, looking back, we learned the term monohybrid cross. That only involves one trait. Dihybrid, if you remember the prefix di means two. So, what we're doing in a dihybrid cross is we are crossing two separate traits. That's what I have here. There are a total of 5 different steps that we need to talk about in order to how to do dihybrid crosses. The first step is you're going to read the question carefully because the question might have some interesting information that you want to make a key of. So then the second half of step 1, it says make a key of dominant and recessive traits. Don't worry, we're going to get some practice with this on the next slide. I just want to give you this step-by-step format first before we dive in and get a practice in. Step 2, determine and write out the genotype for each parent based on the wording in the question. All right, and each parent will have 4 letters, 2 for each trait. We'll unpack what that means here in a little bit. Step 3, you're going to FOIL each parent and place them on the Punnett square. So 2 letters, 1 for each trait, will go next to each square. So there's an example there for you. So we have capital H, capital B, capital H, lowercase b, lowercase h, big B, and then lowercase h, lowercase b. We'll go next to each square on one side of the Punnett square for each parent. And when we say FOIL, what we mean is we mean first, outer, inner, and last. Step 4 says combine letters on the Punnett square, keeping like letters together. So each square should have a total of 4 letters, just like their parents do. And then step 5, you're going to list the phenotypes and genotypes listed in the results. Okay? So with all that information, we're probably thinking, what the heck? Where do I start? What does this look like? All that kind of stuff. Well, here we go. Our question is, it says we're going to cross a long-tailed brown cat with heterozygous for both with a short tail and homozygous brown cat. Oh, geez. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to make myself a little key. And it's already actually given here for me. So just understanding the language here, okay? Looking at the actual question, reading it carefully as it says in step 1, I can make a key, okay? And the key is given to me this time. So capital S means long. So long is dominant to short, okay? The other trait, because again, a dihybrid cross involves 2 traits. In this case, the coat color of the cat, brown, is dominant to white. Okay, so knowing that information, I can actually come up with my parents. And so when I come up with my parents, I think I'm going to write on the left-hand side here. I'm just going to, oh, hang on. My apologies, everybody. I am brand new to using this pen, so I am working through some struggles here. All right, but I have parent number 1, and parent number 1, it says, is long-tailed and brown, but they're heterozygous for both. Okay, so what that means is I'm going to have a big S, little s, big B, little b, because it's heterozygous for both. Okay, then I'm going to cross it with a short tail length and homozygous brown cat. Okay, so if it's short, that means that it has to be homozygous lowercase for short. And if it's homozygous for brown, it's got to have 2 big B's. Okay, so that's part of the second step, is to figure out what the genotypes of my parents are. Well, here they are. Okay, another step that we have to take is we have to FOIL. That's a big part of step 2. Okay, so I'm going to write FOIL up here. That's a horrible F. Again, I appreciate the patience. Hopefully after many years of teaching, I'll get better at writing on here. Okay, but I'm just going to draw an arrow that tells me that I'm going to start foiling. Now, with foiling, F stands for first. So I'm going to take the first S with the first B. So it's capital S, capital B. All right. Then I'm going to do the outside. O means outside. So the outside S, no, that's not working there. Okay, the outside S with the outside B. So that's, again, big S, little b. Then I go to the inside. So the inside S, it's not writing right now. There we go. So then I have a little s, big B. And then lastly, I'm going to draw through it there, little s, little b. Okay? So if you can, go ahead and foil this second parent. Just to get some extra practice in there, you can pause the video here. Awesome. So hopefully you've foiled the second parent. Well, the second parent is actually really easy because they're all the same. Okay, little s, big B, little s, big B. Okay, so all four of them are going to be the same. So then step number, I think it's number 3, possibly number 4, I can't remember. I believe we're going to stick with 3. Okay, I'm going to take my first parent and I'm going to list it the same way that I would a cross. Okay, so in each column, above each column, you are going to have one S and one B. So here, I'd have big S, big B. Big S, little b, little s. Again, my writing is so terrible. That's okay. You guys are giving me grace. There we go. Okay, there's parent number 1. Parent number 2 is all the same. So I'm going to have little s, big B, little s, big B, little s, big B, little s, and a big B. Okay? So now step number 3 is done. Now I'm going to move on to step number 4. Okay? Step number 4 says that I'm going to combine like letters. So you might be thinking, what goes in each one of these boxes? Well, here it is. All right? So I'm going to have a big S, little s, big B, big B. Okay? What I would like you to do right now is pause the video and try to come up with all of the rest of these squares. Okay? And so I'm going to give you a second to do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest. So again, I'm going to have a heterozygous here. So hopefully this is starting to come together for you. And what you'll realize is that sometimes there is a pattern. And in this case, you'll notice that as you go down each column, they are going to end up being the same. So again, I'm just writing all of these out just to give us a full visual of what these dihybrid crosses are supposed to look like. Almost there. Again, hopefully if I teach for a long time, I can have better handwriting so that you guys can better understand my chicken scratch here. It's not great, but it'll get the job done, right? So this is a completed dihybrid cross, okay? Step 5 says that we now need to make our phenotype and genotypic ratios, So I'm going to give you a couple helpful hints as to how to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a separate slide just so that I have enough space because I kind of ran out of some. Okay, so we have our phenotype and genotype here. So if you look, and we're going to start with what's listed. And so what I like to do is I like to make a little symbol that's in the top right corner that tells me, okay, I'm starting with this genotype right here. So we have heterozygous S, big B, big B, okay? So if you followed the pattern, you'll notice that all of these in this column right here, all are the same. So if we can do the quick math, right, there are a total of 16 squares. So it's very similar as to how I would do my Punnett square ratios. Okay, it's out of a total of 16, and 4 of them are going to be heterozygous, long, and brown. Okay, and we'll talk about that in phenotypes here in a second. But 4 out of 16 look exactly like this in terms of their genotype. Okay, so then over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, let's do an open square. So we have an open square, indicating that all of these are the same. Okay, so there's one. So now, I believe it was, just going to make sure heterozygous for both. Yep. Okay, and another 4 out of 16 are heterozygous for both. Okay, we have little s, big B, 4 out of 16 there. So we can give those a symbol. Let's do triangles, indicating that those are all done. And then lastly, over here, we'll just do open circles, indicating that those are done. Again, if this distracts you, I totally understand that. Some people use numbers. Some people use different symbols. I just like to do these as a way of crossing them off when I know that I've finished them. So then the last one, I have S, and I believe it's a big B. Yes, a little b. Just like that. Okay, so that's my genotypic ratio. That's really well done. That's all complete. So now, using my key, I need to figure out how many are going to be, in this particular case, long and brown. So if you look, we have 4 that are going to be long and brown here, and 4 that are going to be long and brown here. So in total, I'm going to do long and brown. There are 8 out of 16. Okay. And then lastly, if you look, we have one more. If we're using our key, we have others that are going to be short and brown. Getting a phone call right now, so I got a little distracted. But if you look, there's 4 here, there's 4 here, for a total of 8 out of 16. And you have just successfully done your first dihybrid cross. Congratulations, it's super exciting, right? It's super fun. I'm really proud of you guys. You're doing a great job. What I would like for you to do before I dive into the next lecture video, go ahead and give this one a try on your own. Good luck. You got it.